people believe that a stalker has been targeting JK. People are also reporting that JK has rushed to the hospital over food poisoning. And then we have a statement or a hint posted by J-Hope and what's going on with that. So, dummies, it's Dave Disci. Let's get into it. People were so excited when they found out that J-Hope apparently has made a TikTok account. And this was definitely a big deal because it likely means that a comeback or some sort of music is about to drop. Although we kind of know that already, but this just definitely verifies it for sure. Because whether you hate TikTok or like it, and I feel like people from other platforms typically don't like TikTok, but whether you like it or not, it is very apparent that the app is very good at promoting things. And if you're a small business or if you're a celebrity who is trying to get attention for their next release, that is the platform to be on. And I don't know what it is and what about it that makes it viral, but people just like to share music and it's easier for them. And they like to make edits of music on that platform. It's easier to reply to a video and just kind of add your thoughts next to their video. So people can definitely reply to any of J-Hope's videos and add their commentary, and suddenly they're sharing it with their own audience, which is going to give J-Hope more exposure. Now, he posted on his first video on the platform, and people definitely found out that this was his legit platform. I mean, screenshots were circulating around when he had about 1,000 followers, but he was verified already, and people hadn't seen this particular new video that he posted before. So there's no way that a random account would have this new video. The short little video starts out with him having his phone on the table, and then he slides the phone into the charger. So once the phone slides into the charging cable, it will typically light up, and we can see from this video that he likely didn't need to charge his phone because his phone was at 87%. So he definitely should not have been concerned over battery life. So many people think that the point of this was definitely not to charge his phone. And then the background of the phone was just him putting his TikTok name. This isn't his TikTok handle because his handle says Hobie Power. So I'm wondering which one is going to end up being his album or single title. Now, the most interesting part is what the time said on the phone. So it read 0307. And so some people interpret it to likely mean that March 7th is going to be the release of this thing, whatever this thing is. Now, I don't know if this has been confirmed yet, or by the time this video comes out, it will be confirmed. Whatever is going to come out March 7th, but just know that as of recording, I wasn't fully aware that March 7th was a real date, if it is. And then some people were getting February 28th, which I don't exactly know if they've gotten that from the phone video or if that was released prior to this video, the phone video being released. Now, both of these dates are alleged, but the second one is more alleged because I don't know where these people were getting that from. But I think both of those dates are kind of crazy. I think it's insane to release a teaser about something that will not come out until about a month and a half later. Of course, earlier promotion is better, but promoting something potentially a month and a half away, at least in my opinion, is kind of crazy. I would have posted this short video maybe around the middle of February because that's plenty of time to tease something and get people hyped about it and have enough time to let everyone know and be able to make the rounds so that everyone knows while not making it too much time to tease it, where it would make the first people who knew about the release to forget it by the time it actually gets to the release, if that makes sense. That's kind of the problem with really long campaigns, is that sometimes they do end up going and it ends up not reaching people because it's so big and it's trying to reach so many different people. However, that's just my experience, and I haven't worked kind of in the mainstream media for many, many years, and so a lot of that is probably different now. And maybe the studies show that people do retain memory or retain hype or whatever it is within this month and a half time period. And that's exactly why it was released now. And going back a little bit to talk about how the TikTok algorithm is so good at promoting content, people in the community have been very upset about the type of content that people seem to be getting and it being promoted on TikTok, as well as other apps, but mostly there because it seems to get more views there. One of the things that was interesting was there are several different types of edits that people make out of the boys. One of them is none other than sexy edits. So people will take moments in which they find JK doing something they think is really hot and add it to the video. And it could be things like him just walking down the stage and treating it like a runway. Other things are just moments where he's with his friends and people find it to be hot or whatever. One of the moments that people were seeing that gets added over and over again was this video that showed JK allegedly smoking. Now in the video, we can kind of see what we believe to be JK smoking, but I'm still going to say allegedly to cover my own butt. Now, a lot of people were upset about that because they felt like that video was stalker content, and that video should never be in the edits because it's sharing stalker content. They don't want to promote that because if a stalker is aware that their stalking is going to lead to their videos getting into every single edit, then they're probably going to be more inclined to do more of that because all these stalkers want to do is get noticed. People in the community are also upset because they don't like to share content that was taken by stalkers. They feel like it is really bad in other ways, and they often say that it's morally not good to share content from a stalker. And I think that this is a little different, just a little bit, from this idea that you don't want to give stalkers clout, right? It's just that you don't want to show love to what they're doing. Following, liking, or sharing on social media implies endorsement nowadays too. So you don't want to endorse a stalker. Now, I will say I don't know the nature of that video being recorded. Was it someone that the label or the boys hired to do a PR stunt or something like that? I don't know, and I don't know if they would do that. I don't really have much of an opinion on this. I can't really say whether I believe this argument is right or wrong, or that this is a stupid thing to argue about. And I don't have much to say about that. But of course, you'll have to use your own judgment on that. And it can be kind of difficult lately to fully make your own judgment online with a lot of the content that is being made online. I'm not talking about misinformation, and I'm not talking about information that people thought was one way, but ended up being another way. So if it was widely believed that something was this way, and then you also believe it and report on it, that's not really what I'm talking about. I consider that to be quite innocent, even though a lot of people might not. But what I'm talking about is purposely trying to make up a story for no other reason than to make up a story. And the stories tend to be extremely graphic or bad. One story was going around that basically said that JK was eating food in the military, and one of the things that he ate was spoiled or just wasn't good. And he got terrible food poisoning to the point where he was rushed to the hospital and he had to get surgery. And this gets worse because it just wasn't one popular video that was saying this. I think I had seen about 2 or 3 videos and I had saved them to my watch later just to kind of see what's going on because I can't always watch a video right away. But I'll add it to my watch later and see it later. And they're all created with the same format of it being AI generated content with a bunch of images that are being flashed up. This really bothers me sometimes because if you're going to tell a story, at the very least, you could just generate AI videos to tell your story. Like these things take 2 seconds to do. You just write in a prompt on AI software and that would literally do it for you. But it just seems so lazy because they're just grabbing pictures from the internet that are not relevant. But this is not the part that annoys me the most. The part that annoys me the most is the fact that people agree with it. Like they don't know that it's fake and they believe it's real because to me, it's quite obviously fake. If you're not showing any proof on screen of what they're saying, then it's likely going to be fake. Because if it were true that JK was poisoned or at the hospital, then they would at least be screenshots from news articles saying that, or at least an image somewhere that people can show where JK is being rushed to the hospital. And again, as I said, like these images can be fabricated, but these channels aren't even doing that. It's so lazy to put together content and for some reason people just believe it. You can argue and say that the people who are watching are either a little bit older or maybe who don't know technology or who don't know how technology works and aren't aware of what AI is, or that you can make up a story and can't determine what is real or what is fake. Or it's people who are very young who maybe don't have the same awareness either. And I'm not trying to stereotype, right? But this is typically what people would think. It's not always going to be what everyone thinks, and it's not necessarily what I think, but it's also not these type of people that are getting tricked. It's literally anyone from all ages. This is why I say it's really important to think about the content that you're watching. And whether you're watching my videos, someone else's videos, or some of these AI videos, you need to really think about what it is that they're saying and whether or not you actually want to believe what they're saying. Look at the facts that are in the video. I mean, they were straight up saying that JK needed surgery from food poisoning. Now, if he ate something like a metal scrap from one of the dish scrubbers, then he'd likely need surgery. But if he ate food and the food just didn't sit well with him because it was bad, then he wouldn't need surgery. The doctors probably would just give him antibiotics and then just kind of wait for him to pass it. Now, I'm not a doctor, and if you're a doctor, you can tell me, but I've never heard of food poisoning surgery because I'm not entirely sure what the surgery would be for. The food has to be absorbed into the body a little bit for the body to even know it's bad, right? And that's why even after you expel the food, you still have to wait for the sickness to pass because you still feel poison because it's still in your bloodstream. So what on earth would a surgery even do? And if I'm so beyond wrong about this, then definitely let me know. But I really don't think that I am. And details like this should give you a clear indicator on what is real and what isn't, because I highly doubt people haven't suffered from food poisoning, because I highly doubt that every one of you probably hasn't suffered from some sort of food poisoning and knows that experience. I think everyone has, and you probably know that surgery likely wouldn't help you. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for listening, comment right here. Love you, bye.